Love your videos. Could you explain what screen time looked like homeschooling when your kids were young? Thank you. And thanks for the question. Yeah, so I have 4 kids. We are unschoolers. My kids are now 21, 19, 16, and 13. The eldest 3 are full-time college students. We never really did limits to screen time. I will say that we don't have a television, and we got rid of our TV when my eldest was 1 year old. That was a conscious choice to limit the amount of advertising that came into our home because anti-consumerism is really important to me. And I don't want that kind of pervasive messaging coming into our home and influencing my kids. We don't really do other limits to screen time. And when my girls were younger, obviously we didn't have iPads. I didn't even have a cell phone. Now all of my kids have iPads. We actually used stimulus money in 2020 to purchase them because so many of the normal avenues for learning for unschoolers were shut down due to the pandemic. But my youngest was 9 at the time. We don't do limits, but we have conversations about what healthy life balance looks like. My goal is to help coach kids into self-regulating. I'll probably do a part 2 to this video.
Part 2 on using screens and being a homeschooling, unschooling family. Unschooling as a philosophy is about helping your kids become self-directed learners. Autodidact is a term that gets used a lot. And for me as a parent, one of my main goals is to raise kids who can become functional, capable adults who can run their own lives. So if I notice one of my kids is spending an inordinate amount of time on social media, and unschoolers try to view everything in life as an opportunity for learning. And the adults often see kids doing something and think that it's wasting time, but really it can be far more that we as adults don't actually understand what our kid is getting out of that experience. However, I want my kids to have good, healthy balance. So if I see somebody's been on screens for a really long time, I'm like, hey, are you tending to the other things that you need to get done in your day? I try to check in with them. How do you feel about the amount of time that you're spending on your tablet? And there are times where my kids have asked for a screen limit. Just like sometimes I give my husband my phone and I'm like, put this away for a while. It's okay to ask for help from family members in enforcing your own personal limits. That's one way that we care for each other. Part 3 on screen time, screen limits for my 4 unschooled kids who are now 21, 19, 16, and 13. Particularly when they were younger, but also what is the unschooling viewpoint when it comes to tablet usage or laptops or other screens. I think it's important to remember that screens are a tool, both for kids with learning disabilities. 2 of my kids have dyslexia, and for them, tablets especially are accessible technology in order for their learning disability and their needs to be accommodated. It never ceases to surprise me what cool things my kids are learning through their own exploration online. 2 of my kids are really into video essays. 1 is really into podcasts. My youngest kid learned how to do multiplication, learned the concept of squares, learned how to read by playing Minecraft. In the general culture, there's a lot of shame associated with children and their screen use when we as adults are on our phone for hours a day. I think unschoolers try to see screens as a tool our kids need to know how to use, rather than viewing them antagonistically.